Hello, Assalamu alaikum. We have done an audit report, um Python automation for vendor solutions. Basically, most of the fintech companies from Pakistan have their own premises nature, so they have to do the auditing for their own VMs. For this, we have automated a complete solution which will save time for many. So it's about what Avanza offers, the climate, the scope, and the data center, which we are to actually audit in this case. So basically, Amanza provides infrastructure to many banks around Pakistan, even microfinance banks is Moblink Telenor. So they also have many assets which are to be monitored and scans and vulnerability because it's about fintech and the major challenge is security. So that being said, so 100% of infrastructure is covered by PRTG, which is everything that should be monitored. Uh, and then we have backup, inventory management, and scanning, as I said earlier, that every to ensure that passwords are shadowed and things that we covered in our course of auditing. So these are network and data protection incident, which we'll cover in our automation. So without further ado, let's go to our automation. So we have this idea to basically, if I run this our script, that will generate a whole audit report that is just did right now in front of you. So with that being said, checked the files are accessible, the folders accessible, system information, CPU information, memory information, network, disk, security checks, whether they are implemented or not, password policies, then the CPU info, memory info, network info of my personal device has been done. Similarly, this can also be connected with a way of VMs of every organization in Pakistan and reduce their work. So I was for C drive and D drive, you may see this is logged and security checks. So let's give it a go to the script. We directly go towards the main that has to be run. So it checks for the path given file in the folder, whether they are accessible or not. In our case, they were accessible as logged over here. I may show it to you by running right away that Python audit. So these were possible to actually, they were accessible. Then moving on to the next part where this function is called get system info. Go to a declaration. Like this, we use this platform library which we can get access to system node release versions, which I stored in this system info dictionary. You will see I'll be incrementing system info dictionary after each while. I use this library psutil for CPU count and CPU percentage that are in use, CPU info, and that you may see over here being logged. Physical cores, total core, CPU usage is 52.5% right now when I actually executed the script. Then there is this total memory, which is basic equal calculation, easy calculation you may see. So I have logged memory info as well, which is right here. Similarly, for network info, a lot of stuff has been cryptically gathered over here. Then there is disk partition that has been set by at the time of installation of Windows. And then disk info. Software info was not being able to because I use a work laptop and many securities are implied on this. Then security check and the date time if it's working. That's an important part in auditing. So this is how it was done. I've also attached these screenshots in the PowerPoint presentation. So these three guys, if I forgot to mention, we were actually making this project. So in the next step, a system auditing tool, multiple key functionalities. Network interface open, ports were checked, and connected devices were checked, and whether the USB ports were open or not. Install software retrieval, timestamp was run. These are the script we use for the network information. We made a separate function for this. It was a user-defined function. File and folder permission was checked by the OS library of the Python, which gathers up and checks the current directory and scanning all available options for files and folders. Then there's a platform thing that we used that I mentioned earlier for system information that is to be logged, and security check for password policies to be checked that whether passwords were shadowed or not, whether passwords were directly stored in the shadow file, user accounts. Password policies were also enabled, like the maximum amount of what we call that password, password usage, password expiry when incorporated. So this is the current time thing, which is also very important when auditing systems. So this is the snapshot we measured. This is the another part of the network information. This is another part of disk information. This is the software info that I mentioned I couldn't do on the work laptop. On a personal laptop, I was able to do easily. So these are all the installed softwares that we can get a list of an audit, security check, current time, and here's the end. So the importance is the holistic analysis of hardware, software, and network components that are connected or not connected at the moment. Security compliance to check whether the verified accounts are used, policies and adherence to security standards. Network visibility, open ports, network interfaces, and connected devices for vulnerability assessment. Access control assessment, check files and folder permission to ensure proper access controls. And at last, the timestamp for audit trails records precise timestamp for creating audit trails and correlating events. To sum up, we created an auditing tool based on different functionality, provided in-depth insight into the system, network, and security parameters, implements automated processes for efficient security assessment, maintains a timestamp log for accurate incident tracking and accountability, validates password policies, user account to security and compliance standards. And here we are. Thank you so much. Getting back to the front page with our names. If anything else is needed or any question is to be considered, feel free to reach out. We'll be there to help out. I think the recording is a lot, 8 minutes. So that is it.